I tried.
I was just like, I read it again to just make sure.
I'm gonna ask a general question about the location. So I am gonna ask a general question to Amy, and she knows it's coming. Oh, you're very loud.
I'm so loud. Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome. And I don't, the cups aren't in there, so
It's okay. Try it.
Sorry. Awesome. Thank you.
Should be connected.
It should be red.
you want me to say we're like in June? Or you're gonna give me a signal? Okay. 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 Okay, I believe we are live and streaming. Or may not be streaming. We're still not sure about that. But we're live and we're being captured on video.
Should we wait for a moment, or
I think it's,
soldiers at the door?
he told me that we were ready.
Welcome to the Special Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, April 5th, 2018. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Amy, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Thiem, absent. Commissioner Stephen Hawkins Snow, sorry.
I'm present.
Chair Ladders
Present.
and Commissioner Andrews.
Present.
And Commissioner Rainey, absent.
So we have a quorum of 3 out of 5, so we are able to act legally today.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to open up the floor to the public. If somebody would like to speak on some issue that is not on today's special agenda, you're welcome to do so. Please come to the microphone and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Matthew Coulter, P.O. Box 1411, Nevada City. Just talking with Janice O'Brien, finding out there's not going to be a place to dry off during this big storm that's coming in. No warming shelter because the temperature is too warm. And I know that there's availability, or people will just make availability wherever they can. And that seems to impact the business owners as well as the people that live in town. So to cut off a lot of problems, it would be great that we know in the weather we're going to have these traumatic events. If you are without a roof, that something is done by somebody, even if it's a tent or a tarp stretched between trees in Pioneer Park. But it's ridiculous to think that everyone can just fend for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on an issue not on today's special agenda? Seeing no movement, I'm going to bring it back to the table. Just a note, we are not addressing minutes today. The minutes from the last regular meeting and the last special meeting will be addressed at the next regular meeting in April, on April, what day is it?
19th.
April 19th. Thank you very much. With that being said, I'd like to move on to regular business, medical cannabis business permit authorizations. The first item on the agenda is...
Yes, we do not have a representative for the first item. It turns out, are going to have a problem with their current lease, and they're looking at either salvaging their current agreement or moving to a new location. So we will hear them at a later time.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to ask you a question that I asked you previously, and you know that it's coming to you. When I visited the site, 138 New Mohawk, I noted that there is a school, or not a school, as the case may be. And that set up some alarms for me. I didn't know if there was a adjacency or distance issue with cannabis businesses and schools. And number two, I didn't know there was a school in a light industrial area.
Yeah, and I'm happy to address both those issues. We do have proximity limitations, but they're applicable only to dispensaries and to cultivation facilities. And the school is actually not a school, it's a home study program, and in their documentation to the city, when they asked to operate in that facility at 111 New Mohawk, I believe, they actually described themselves as an office and administrative hub, not a classroom-based school that had students regularly there. So, and you are correct, schools are not allowed in the light industrial designation, which is why staff at the time in, I want to say like 2014, had requested that they describe the activity. And so we do have documentation that they are just a administrative and office hub.
I saw the little kids cross here standards sitting out in the street, and that threw up a red flag for me. I wasn't sure what that was all about, so thank you for clarifying that. So moving on to item number 2, 138 New Mohawk, CBD Power Bar building tenant, manufacturing, infusion-only distribution. Are there representatives here? And if so, please come to the table up here. Nice tie. Okay.
Oh, and I'm going to bring the microphone. You both have to talk into that.
So I'm not sure if it's appropriate, but I did bring some bars for everybody here.
So if you could introduce yourself
Yeah.
and the name of your business.
My name is Jared Steinman, and I'm owner and operator of CBD Power Bars at 138 New Mohawk in Nevada City.
Thank you.
And I'll provide a little introduction, and then after I'm done, I know Jared has a few exhibits to show on the projector, so I'll get that situated, and he can add something as I'm working that out. CBD Power Bars, operated by Jared Steinman, initially submitted an application that included an extraction component. However, the lease space that has been acquired is not adequate for their operation, so he's since clarified that with staff that he intends only to operate as an infusion manufacturer. This operation involves incorporating refined oil that is provided in previously portioned dosage amounts into an existing edible product. The applicant will then repackage the edible product with the appropriate medical labeling standards. CBD Power Bars plans to self-distribute using 2 drivers and will not transport any other manufacturer's product. The applicant has not yet submitted information on the type of vehicle being used, and that will need to be reviewed by the police chief before the permit can be issued. The facility will be video surveilled in accordance with their application in section 9.22090 of the City Municipal Code. The prior police chief conducted a site visit and provided recommendations to the applicant, which are included in conditions that will be required prior to issuance of a permit. The police will conduct an inspection of the facility prior to the permit, and a background check has been conducted on the principal of this business, and no disqualifying information has been was reported. The local ordinance does allow for medical cannabis manufacturing, distribution, testing, laboratory, and cultivation businesses only in the light industrial zoning district. The proposed business is at 138 New Mohawk, is located between Boast Avenue and Gold Flat Road. Several tenants, many of which are prospective medical cannabis businesses, also occupy the building. Caltrans occupies the lower floor for office use. At least 2 nonprofit businesses have vacated the building. Other nearby businesses include a manufacturing and assembly businesses, a campground, the Railroad Museum, the museum, a home study administrative program, and general office use. A zoning verification letter has been issued for the business at the proposed location, verifying that the site meets local zoning and local locational requirements of the Nevada City Ordinance. Thank you, and
Thank you.
Jared has anything more, and I'm gonna, again, I'll just dim those lights and get the presentation started.
I brought with me here just some things for further clarification. I did email over, here, let me just get, this is, sorry. Just to further explain what our, proposed office space will look like for our fusion facility, and then vehicle distribution, which was emailed to the former police chief, but I think I'll have to get the new email to the new police chief. Oh, no, they're the same. They're the same, yeah. And then some fun flyer information. Thank you. And everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we'll be at 138 New Mohawk Road, and Office Suite 212 will be the infusion facility for our first phase of getting started. Who am I? My name is Jared Steinman. I'm a cancer survivor for over 24 years now. I've triumphed over a long battle of dealing with cannabis as a medicine, and how the medicinal uses can be very beneficial for people surviving from cancer, as far as going through the chemotherapy and radiation can cause a lot of severe issues that cannabis, in my experience, has provided a lot of relief from, and why I chose to get into this industry in the first place. As far as CBD Power Bars as a brand, it's a new brand for hemp and cannabis edible infusion company. CBD Power Bars is going to obtain the infusion type N, and type P is under the type N license, so it'll just be one license that I'll be applying for, along with distribution, which would be the second license I'll be applying for. And our products are going to be protein bars for the most part, and then other health and wellness products as protein powders, vape cartridges, stuff that's going to be easily accessible for people on the go who have an active lifestyle, and that choose to medicate with CBD over THC. Our mission is to provide high quality cannabis products wholesale to retail dispensaries. We won't be retailing our own product. It'll all be wholesale to other distribution networks or to retail outlets. As far as management, right now it's just myself. I've started a collective, Fact Farms, in 2015. I've been operating, though, in this industry since 2014. Incorporated myself. I do all the day-to-day. I'm the face of the brand. I am a definition of small business and young entrepreneur who's trying to provide good for the community and for myself by not being a nuisance on the streets. As far as the benefits of going with this infusion company, we won't have as many barriers to entry as far as limitations on packaging and milligram dosage. All the state requirements are more focused on THC and intoxifying cannabinoids, as well as it'll take us very few to get up and running, because we are using a co-packing facility to actually make the bars. We will just be cold pressing them for the infusion. So there would be little to no TI, as I showed you as that of the facility map. We have a really good market opportunity being CBD in California alone. It's over $2 million in retail sales just of CBD. So we pose to be a really good business model in this industry as far as California goes, getting our license and being in the industry so soon, because there's very few actual edible companies that are regulated and licensed right now. As our phase one, like I said, we're going to start out by using a co-packing facility that'll mass produce the ingredients not containing CBD. Then the finished bars are going to be delivered during normal business hours. We're going to source CBD oil, distillate, or isolate from a local manufacturer we will infuse by cold pressing into each bar individually to ensure each bar is 20 milligrams. Because that's the next biggest thing with CBD and any infused product is, in a sense, guaranteeing what you're getting is actually what you're getting. Because it could vary towards, the end of the cookie sheet to the center of the cookie sheet, where we're actually going to do each individual bar. After the infusion, all products are going to be packaged with state-compliant packaging, and we'll have all health codes, ServSafe certifications, everything required by the state to operate and handle food. We'll have that. And then it's not going to require any heavy machinery to do any of this, just a heat sealer to seal the packages once they're done. Phase two is, hopefully once our sales within the first 6 months are generated and we're getting orders for 10,000 bars in Venice Beach and SoCal, then we'll plan to expand out of such a small space that we're getting started in. Just being one person that's going to try to maintain all this, I figured starting small, not having such a huge investment to manage my expenses, then as we get bigger, I can grow with you guys. Odor has been, the biggest complaint from a lot of people in the community. Benefits of this business, we are not manufacturing the product, like the CBD itself. We're going to purchase that, so there should be very to little, no odor, and these distillate and isolates don't have smell or taste in them as well. Security, I'm not sure if, I'm pretty sure this is okay for the public. But yeah, we'll have cameras, according to all state regulations and code. We'll have cameras recording 24/7 with the appropriate resolution and stored on site. We won't handle any cash or cash on site, because another benefit with our company at least, and since I've been operating in 2015, I've had a bank account, and I've been able, since I'm so small, I'm not generating millions of dollars right now. We're just getting out there. It's a new brand. Not too many people are even aware of us right now. So we have a bank account, and we've been able to bank with them for quite some time. So no cash will be on site, and of course no one under the age of 21 will be there or have access. Signs, there won't be any big neon CBD signs or anything like that. It will probably just be a plaque above my door saying either infusion facility or CBD power bars. And actually, we rebranded. It's not CBD power bars anymore. It's just CBD as an acronym, core body development. So that will also be different as well. Safety, will take very pride in providing good services and safety of our product. And we'll make sure everything is up to compliant, and being that it'll just be myself and potentially 1 or 2 employees that I'll have oversight over. It'd be real easy to stay on top of code compliance and keeping things appropriate for consumption. I provided some standard operating procedures to show that we're taking the necessary steps to not only educate the people that are going to work for us, but the public can see as well. This is the equipment that we'll have. Is just a heat sealer, standard impulse sealer. Each package will be pressed down and sealed. As far as our products go, we'll have 4 different flavors: cashew, blueberry crunch, almond cranberry crunch, cinnamon ginger crunch, and sesame cranberry crunch. All ingredients are under 10 ingredients, less than 10 grams of sugar, and they will each be infused to 20 milligrams of CBD. They are GMO-free, gluten, soy, and dairy-free. This is an example of packaging for the CBD. And again, our logo, since we've submitted, will be changed. But this is just some examples of that packaging and ingredients. And CBD is a phytocannabinoid of the cannabis plant. It's non-psychoactive, and here's just a list of some cannabinoids. There are more than this, but this is just a few. It's kind of hard to see on there. It's pretty blurry, but it just shows that each cannabinoid has their own benefits for you. CBD is why we choose this cannabinoid over others is for the active lifestyle, that it's going to promote bone and muscle health, it's anti-inflammatory, and it's going to reduce blood sugar levels and functioning of the immune system, so people who like to work out and have a healthy mind state and don't want to eat a brownie instead, they can choose this. Hemp seeds is our main ingredient. So hemp seeds is a viable food source. It's just considered a superfood. This is one of the, again, it's kind of blurry up there to see. But it's high in fiber. It has more, it's a 6-to-1 ratio for omega-3s and 6s. So it's got more omega-3s and 6s than your acai berries. It's going to support brain function, immune function, weight loss, skin inflammation, and pain management. It actually contains more fiber than kale. Hemp does. As far as what we want to plan to do with the community, I'm still running as a not-for-profit LLC. It is an S corp, but we plan on generating at least 0.5% of our gross sales to give back to nonprofit foundations as the state comes on board and allows us to do so with compliance programs with the Collagenous network that operates here in Nevada City, that CBD actually benefiting a lot of children that have epilepsy and stuff that might not have access to it with the new laws. And as far as compassion programs go, I think that'll change this this June or November. They're going to allow us to actually give away product for free, and that's what we plan on doing for severe patients that need it. And then this would be where I play the video. And I prepared just a 1-minute animated video. Here, sorry.
It's going.
Is it going? Yeah, sorry. So dialing in edibles to precise doses are important. We'll use the raw distillate as is important with infused products because it permits accurate dosing and contains no smell or taste. We automate with caution. When we manufacture our low-dose edibles, margin for errors can be tricky, and that's why we are careful about what part of the process we automate. We will infuse coconut oil and honey with the raw distillate by hand to ensure equal distribution of cannabinoids. Potency can change frequently, so testing and adjusting recipes is critical. The most absolute way to be sure what's going in your product is to do it manually. We're trying to educate through our product design how to use product responsibly, how to enjoy it. When you build that education into your brand's design and user's experience, that's how we're going to break stigmas around the health and wellness of cannabis. For personal consumption, everyone should know their dose and focus on their core body development. So we've removed Get Lit to Be Fit. I know that was one of the public comments. So that's gone. That's no longer there. And then Power Bars is gone, and it's now an acronym for core body development. Thank you for your time, and that was a little longer than expected. If you guys are interested, I brought some.
At this time, we're going to open the floor up to the public. If somebody would like to speak to this application, please come to the microphone. Now is the time. And I'm not seeing much movement out there, so I'm going to bring it back to the table. Mr. Andrews, I know you have some questions.
I do. That was a great presentation. Thank you. You did a really good job.
Thank you. We had plenty of time to put it together.
Yeah. Let me see. My questions were about parking. I think it looks like your space is 125 square feet. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then according to the documents, you get one space for 320.
Okay.
So I was just wondering about if it's just one car plus the distribution vehicle.
Right. So
is there-
I provided in that little distribution, so I plan on using my own vehicle and making modifications to it that I don't think I'm allowed to say to the public.
Okay.
But I handed it to you.
Okay,
and
okay,
then,
I see it, yeah.
So we will, have extra storage and security measures will be GPS in place, you know, preventing people from breaking into the vehicle because it is a personal vehicle as well. And product will only be in during normal business hours. And as far as product being stored, it'll be on, I believe, I don't know if I'm not allowed to say it or not. Okay, I'm not sure, but everything will be, you know, up to code.
Okay.
And to make sure that it's not getting into the wrong hands. And as far as the former police chief Foley mentioned, he's not sure who's interested in robbing CBD.
And then, is it just, I don't know if you can even answer this, but if it's just one driver, one car?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And if as soon as this is all new, we're trying to break our way into the new regulated industry, so we're just taking baby steps. I want to
Right.
make sure I'm doing it right, and the way I can see doing that is by maintaining and managing myself first. And if I can get through it, then I can present to you guys, you know, with, you know, other employees and liability at stake.
Okay, and then my other question was just that in your business plan, it still says your main goal is extraction, but you're not, you've moved away from
It
that?
was not intent, that was a whole confusion when I first submitted my application. I was under the impression, because it was only manufacturing you could apply for, and I was still learning the state laws. I thought I had to apply for the whole process, and then once, you know, talking with compliance agents and my lawyer, further explaining that type N is just a subcategory of manufacturing.
Okay.
So that's if I need to go back and resubmit, I can get that information out of there to resolve any confusion. Just when I understand, I was confused when I first submitted. All I wanted to do was just infuse bars, not do a whole extraction in an office space.
And then I think, I was just curious what FACT stood for. 'Cause I couldn't find it.
Free Will Alliance of Cannabis Therapeutics.
Okay. That's all my questions.
Commissioner Snell?
I have no questions.
Okie dokie. I do see there's a letter from Mr. Amaral here. He seems to be in support of your business. There doesn't seem to be any questions whatsoever. So, let's see. It's right here somewhere. Anyway, I saw it.
Somewhere in the 400 pages.
It's there. Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Sorry, I've missed over
There's
the
a
letter.
lot of stuff here. Yeah, just so you know. We do look at it, actually, so.
I
thank-
appreciate your time, that's why I
So
take.
thank you. How do you know when Phase 2 starts?
When Phase 2 starts, I would believe in the best possible way when sales are through the roof. You know, when we're getting under our capacity within that space. So if we have like 50,000 bars, I don't think I can be able to do that in that space. So my projections is we only have one dispensary that's not even operating in this city yet. There are multiple dispensaries in Sacramento, and I believe there's one in Colfax. So as far as this space and what my brand is to get it out there, I believe it's going to take at least 6 months to a year till we expect those volumes. Because I won't even have access to Southern California just yet with just me doing everything.
So tell me I've read this right. Once Phase 2 starts,
Right,
you've outgrown this space.
correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And I will come back according to the conditions. Before Phase 2 begins, I have to resubmit. And if I'm going to obviously expand into bigger space, I'll have actual architectural plans, not, you know, just because it's an office space. I did that on my computer to show you. 'Cause, I mean, we won't have any TI. It'll be really easy for us to get started up.
And you're basically an assembly plant at this point.
this point, yeah.
There's no baking,
No baking,
there's no extraction,
no extraction,
there's only infusion.
and packaging,
Okay, okay.
and then distribution, yeah.
So do you have like a serve safe or a?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'm not. Since I don't have this space currently, like, you know, we're not currently occupying it. I have started the test. It's a whole test.
Yeah.
It's like 30 days or so you have to go through. So I've started it. I've just been waiting because that also costs money too. So I've been waiting to get the approval before I start applying for all spending money on all these different certifications that may not be what I need if I wasn't approved today. So I hope so. Then I can move forward.
I don't think I have any more questions. And by the way, that letter's on page 201.
Okay, thank
Just
you.
in case. No questions?
Yeah, I mean, the question that I had was about like the safe serve and environmental health, but I also assumed that it wasn't in line with the timeline.
Right.
But I would like to make a statement. It may seem that I was like flippant in that I didn't have any questions, but like all of these applications are very thorough and done very well. And I'd like to thank you and everyone else on this docket that applied because it left very little questions for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Seeing that I don't see any additional questions for you, I would entertain a motion to approve this application as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve this application as presented.
Were there any additional?
There's pending a vehicular review. Is that
Yeah.
part of this? Do we have to state that?
We can add that as a specific condition. It's sort of, if we want to, yeah, we can do that. We can just add a condition to E3, which is the police department. So the police department or designate will review the type of distribution vehicle to be used for the distribution component prior to issuance of a permit. So if you want to just, you can, I'll say that that's E3, and then if you guys want to just, when you make your motion, you can say as presented and condition E3 of the,
Okay.
yeah, as amended with condition E3.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application as amended with condition E3.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. There's a 15-day appeal process, so don't start anything for 15 days. Okay.
I'll try to wait.
Okay. You've been waiting, yeah. Your patience is appreciated. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you. And
Thank you.
Carry interest in a bar? I know they sounded very delicious in the presentation.
Are we allowed to?
I'm not sure about.
We have to ask the boss.
I only know staff's, I think the rule for staff is we can't accept anything under or over a $20 value, I want to say.
We'll pass today, but that doesn't mean we won't be interested in the future.
Awesome.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can't consume it.
Sorry, I was hungry too.
Stefano's ready.
If it was ready, yes.
Thanks, Dad.
We're going to take a brief break here while Amy does audio-video technician work. Okay, let's move on to item number 3, 138 New Mohawk, Emerald Bay Wellness Building Tenant, Manufacturing Ethanol Extraction and Distribution. Please come forward. And if you could introduce yourself into the microphone, and then Amy will provide an advanced introduction for you.
My name is Casey Lennon Angeli. Thomas Angeli.
Emerald Bay Wellness is managed by the two before you, Thomas Angeli and Casey Lennon Angeli, I guess. It's changed. Okay. Their operation involves an ethanol extraction process to remove cannabinoid oil from raw product to produce finished, packaged, and portioned products, including vape cartridges, clear distillate, and shatter. They will also provide wholesale extracts for use by other licensed manufacturers. All finished products will include labels that are compliant with state medical cannabis labeling standards. Emerald Bay Wellness plans to self-distribute using one distribution vehicle. Other employees include a sales team that will make initial contact with other licensed business clients. Angeli's application will not distribute any product except for their own manufactured product and products needed to conduct their own business operation. The facility will be surveilled in accordance with their application and the municipal code. Police chief has conducted a site visit and provided recommendations, which are included in conditions of approval. The background check was completed on both the principals of the business and no disqualifying information was reported. The local ordinance allows all cannabis manufacturing, distribution, testing, laboratory, and cultivation businesses in the light industrial zoning designation. The proposed business at 138 New Mohawk is located between Boast and Gold Flat Road. So there's other tenants. This is basically the same thing I read before because it's the same building. Other tenants include Caltrans on the lower floor, and other businesses in the vicinity include manufacturing and assembly businesses, a campground, railroad museum, the home study program administrative hub, and general office use. The zoning verification letter has been issued for the business at the proposed location and verifies that the site meets local zoning and locational requirements.
Anything you'd like to add to that?
So first off, we would like to say thank you to Amy for all that you've done to help us go through this process. We truly appreciate the effort that you have put in to help us get to today. We'd also like to thank the Planning Commission for having this special meeting and the City Council for providing an environment in which our business has the opportunity to operate safely and legally within this community. My name is Casey. My partner Thomas and I founded Emerald Bay Wellness, also doing business as Emerald Bay Extracts. We're Nevada County residents with permanent roots in the community. Thomas is an experienced entrepreneur. His most recent business was a residential and commercial solar company, and I'm a registered nurse. I work in the ICU, and I formerly worked with oncology patients. I have seen firsthand the benefits of cannabis products and believe in building a company that reduces exposure to toxins while providing medical patients with beneficial cannabis. Together, we hope to change the image of cannabis through the development of safe, clean, organic products and founding a company that values community and environmentally positive business practices. So a little bit about us. Emerald Bay Wellness is an existing nonprofit collective focused on infusing clean cannabis extract products under Prop 215. We are applying for a cannabis distribution and a non-volatile manufacturing permit. We aim to serve the consumer cannabis market with products such as vape cartridges and extracts. We intend to provide wholesale extracts to other infusers and manufacturers in the industry. We will use self-distribution to get our products into the medical marketplace. Our business is non-street facing, and all transactions and operations will take place securely inside our facility. Our hope is to create a sustainable pipeline with other medical cannabis businesses in Nevada City.
It is important to Casey and I that our company be an upstanding community member and a good neighbor. As such, we have spoken with some of our neighbors and have incorporated their concerns into our operation plan and the layout of our facility. As upstanding cannabis business owners, we will address the three major concerns that surround a cannabis-based business. Those are product diversion, illicit signage, and noxious odors. We will prevent diversion with a track and trace platform, which will track every step in the supply chain from seed to sale. This process will allow us to identify the trajectory of our products and allow authorities to identify product origin. This process will allow, we will not have any identifying signs on the outside of the building, and we will be using carbon air filters with a new HVAC system to diminish any detectable odors. We intend to install a comprehensive security system within our licensed facility. This includes measures to protect employees and the general public. We will be installing cameras, keycard access, motion sensors, and panic buttons. Employees will be trained on safety protocols and asked to perform regular competency checks. Since receiving the list of conditions of approval, we have begun incorporating the conditions into our business and safety plan. Our office has been visually inspected by the police chief, and we have been in discussions with the fire department on how to ensure safety and compliance. We are currently working with the other proposed businesses in the new Mohawk building to identify how we can make the entire building more secure, incorporating additional security features to the exterior and common space of the building.
Our manufacturing process uses all engineer-certified equipment that has been designed specifically for cannabis manufacturing. All machinery has been constructed to comply with strict safety standards. The equipment will be provided with recommended service procedures. These service procedures will be followed at all times. The manufacturer will also provide on-site training on all extraction equipment. All flammable materials will be stored in a fire-protected room as per the fire and building departments.
We have taken extensive steps to protect safety during self-distribution. This includes conducting all distribution tasks during normal business hours. We have a secure area for loading and unloading vehicles, and all transactions will take place within the licensed facility. Our vehicles will be outfitted with GPS, cameras, and safes to ensure the safety of the driver as well as the general public. At no time will our vehicles be left unattended with cannabis products inside of them. We will ensure that all of our products pass safety and toxin screenings before being released into the marketplace. Utilizing the track and trace platform, we will be able to identify any batch that does not meet these standards, and in the rare case, be able to recall products.
When starting Emerald Bay Wellness, it was important to us to make sure that the business had minimal impact on the natural environment. As Nevada County residents, we appreciate and marvel at the beauty of this area. Ethanol extraction was the chosen method as the power and water needs are minimal and our process has the ability to recover almost 100% of the solvent used. All of our packaging is designed with sustainability in mind. We use recycled materials when possible and continue to redesign packaging to reduce space, excess, and transportation requirements. Our company aims to create as little waste as possible and is committed to ensuring proper disposal. All cannabis waste will be tracked in the track and trace system and disposed of in designated cannabis waste receptacles. Measures have been put into place for disposing of cannabis waste, and for non-cannabis waste, Emerald Bay will provide recycling bins, compost bins, and trash bins.
There are 114 parking spaces at the 138 New Mohawk location. According to the calculations provided by the planning department, we will be allocated 8.44 parking spaces. This is enough to accommodate staff, company vehicles, and vendors who could be on the site at the same time. In addition to the parking, the proposed facility is accessible by public transportation with a stop located across the street from the building. We believe at the heart of this business is the community it serves. Therefore, we pledge to be good community stewards. We intend to donate 5% of our profits to local community organizations, including the local food bank, local environmental organizations, and veterans organizations. We will encourage our employees to take a paid day off every year to volunteer with a local nonprofit organization. We will hire local businesses and contractors for the facility build-out. We plan on partnering with local permitted cannabis businesses to both source and provide our cannabis products. We hope that by bringing these businesses to the legal market, we'll help provide maximum benefits to Nevada City and Nevada County community. We will employ local workers with well-paying jobs that often do not require a college degree. Our projected average hourly wage is $21.88 per hour. Our full-time employees will be given benefits and paid time off. We hope that by providing a livable wage and benefits, we will help our employees and their families while also encouraging them to grow within our organization.
So thank you for this opportunity to present our business to you. We are excited about the potential to create a business that will benefit this community for many years to come. We welcome any questions and concerns now or at any time in the future. We understand that we are part of a new industry, and with that comes the responsibility to get this right. We believe that our business and this community will help change the face of cannabis.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open this application up to the public. If somebody would like to comment on this application, please do so now. Please come to the microphone. And seeing no movement at all, I'm going to bring it back to the table. And do you have initial thoughts?
I don't.
Okay.
The only question that I had for you guys when I was reading through your application was about just the cannabis waste and what that consists of. And I think in your application you said you were going to take that to waste management. And I don't know if they even, do they have the facilities to deal with that? And what kind of waste do you expect to produce?
So with the waste, so we are extracting the active cannabinoids out of a trim material, like out of a waste product from the growing. So in doing that, we have this extra trim material left over that needs to be disposed of. The way the regulations are set up, I believe we're supposed to mix it with 50% non-cannabis material, which makes it essentially a non-cannabis product and can be disposed of at that point. We are able to pull all of the ethanol out of it so we can test it to prove that this is not a hazardous material when it gets disposed of. Although if there is the case where we are unable to pull all of the ethanol out, we have a company that will come pick it up and dispose of it properly within the California regulations. That company is also a permitted business because we can't sell any of our waste to any other company. But if they are part of this system and they can distribute it and take it to their own composting facility.
Okay. That was my only question.
So I'm not a scientist, I will tell you that, so I apologize in advance if my questions sound very basic. So I visited an extraction lab before I've seen the process. It was in a standalone building. Is there any concern that you can think of about having ethanol or any other kind of organic solvents in an existing building? Or do you think or does the fire department, I guess, think the ventilation system will accommodate any problems or any vapors, any fumes?
So that was a big part of our decision in terms of like how are we setting up this business and how are we extracting. One of the nice things about ethanol compared to like a hydrocarbon extraction was we're not under pressure, we're not an explosive thing. Ethanol is very commonly stored through many different types of manufacturing that are not cannabis-based, so there's very strict rules on how to handle it according to OSHA and the fire department. And so the fire department was easily able to come and say, we can store 120 gallons of ethanol within this room, as long as we have a 2-hour rated fire floor and 1-hour rated walls. And so where the ethanol is actually stored. So for them, the ethanol in the conversation wasn't a scary point, I guess, right? It is common throughout other types of manufacturing to have this much ethanol in one place.
Is there a fume hood or a fume trunk or anything like that to?
Yes, yeah, so there's a fume hood over some of the equipment, but for the most part, the ethanol is within a walk-in freezer. Well, all of the ethanol is stored within a walk-in freezer, so it's in an enclosed room inside of another enclosed room.
Which is the fire rated.
The fire rated room.
The fire rated room.
And at some point, the ethanol will be dead and needs to go away. Is there a used up red can somewhere that sits in that room? Is that happen?
Well, so yes, all storage, whether it is waste or being used, will all be stored within this room, and we'll have a max of 120 gallons, is what the rules state that we can have within this one fire-rated room. So everything will stay in there, be it waste or stuff that is being currently used. If there is waste ethanol that we do need to dispose of, that would go through a hazardous waste facility. It's not something that we would just dispose of kind of on our own. But we're able to continue to recycle and reuse and recover almost 100% of the ethanol every time we go through this process.
That's admirable.
Yeah, and again, this is like all part of our process as we were trying to decide like what is the best way to go forward with this. There's many ways to attack this problem and to create a solution to it. So how can we do it in the most, safest way that we feel the most comfortable with?
Waste and safety are like our biggest things.
Yeah, I can see that. And how does your landlord feel about this? I don't see did I miss a letter in here?
The letter is in there. The landlord has wrote it and
Okay,
approved of the manufacturing. I know there are other businesses, like Amy had said, there's many cannabis businesses that are going into this facility.
Okay. Do you have any other thoughts? Were there any conditions that staff noted?
Nothing to add,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
whatever is in the conditions as written.
Okay. At this point, I'd entertain a motion to approve this application.
I would like to make a motion to approve this application as presented.
Second?
With any conditions as noted in,
As included in
As
the,
included,
yeah,
as
the
included.
attached staff report.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. You're approved.
So much.
If you can wait for 15 days to start, there's a 15-day appeal process.
Is it 15 or 10? Didn't on the last
Oh,
one?
you know what? Thank you for reminding me. So yes, and the 15-day appeal period is in chapter 17 because they're falling under chapter 9.22 of the municipal code. It's actually a 10-day appeal period.
Okay.
So I apologize.
Thank you.
And that applies to the prior.
Look who's
got me.
counting.
Thank
Someone
you.
is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is correspondence. I'd
And
like
the-
to talk about the correspondence.
Yeah, so the two on the top, the first two in there, the petitions from business owners and the correspondence from Mueller, Theos, and Newton and Moran, those are attached in the last agenda, and they were just sort of more general comments about the ordinance and the businesses. They weren't specific to any one, so I wanted to include them on this agenda for that purpose, but they were the exact same ones that were attached to the special meeting of March 29th. And then since that meeting, I had a new correspondence from Susan Reynolds, and she had some general comments about cannabis businesses, and then also had comments specific to the item number 2, which he addressed. So I included her comments both as an attachment to item number 2's agenda and also as a general one. So I don't know if you wanted me to read through her email.
I don't think so. I'm hoping these, especially the petitions and the first 2 items, can they get forwarded to the city council as well? I'm not sure we can adequately.
Yeah, a lot of them have
Solve
to
that
do
decision.
more with the ordinance itself, and I'm not sure. There's a couple of different petitions in there. I at least think at least one of them was the same petition that was submitted and distributed to the city council.
Okay.
And it may be the case that all of them were, and that was done at the time the ordinance was being drafted. So it may have already been, but we can certainly include, general correspondence to the city council.
Are we of a like mind that this would be perfect for the city council to see?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones that can make a call on it.
Yeah,
We can just read it and feel something about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
all
don't feel anything.
3 of these things? Send all 3 to the council?
That would be lovely
Okay.
if you wouldn't mind.
Yep, we'll include that in their correspondence.
Thank you very much. If there's nothing else, the next regular meeting, not a special meeting, the next regular meeting is April 19th, 2018, third Thursday of the month.
That's in the future.
That is.
Sorry.
And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay. Passes 3-0.